Hello, I am using Pantone for Sun Summer 2023. I am so sorry it took forever. This is for people, I didn't say this in the Mercury video, but this is for people who feel very solar ruled. Like your sun placement in astrology is very prominent, or it has like prominent, like it has things such as conjunctions or oppositions, or if you feel like it's a very strong placement, and it does have a lot of say so in a lot of astrological events, whether or not you know something opposes it now as opposed to when you were born, stuff like that. You could also be someone who is very Leo in your chart, like you have a stellium, or like your Leo sun, moon, rising, stuff like that. But I'm not so attached to the zodiac sign. I'm more attached to the actual planet that we have in astrology, which is the sun. So if you're solar ruled or solar interested, I guess, this is the reading. So I read by planet, not zodiac anyway. So I'm using these Pantone postcards, not a tarot deck, which is so interesting. I was going to use one, but I decided to use cards because the readings seem to be getting more and more abstract. And I'm like, what's that about? What is that about? I don't even think I need this. I guess this would be all the elements that you need to grow something. Like the sun, the earth, the actual results here. I wouldn't think the water. I think the only thing that would be questionable is the thing that you're choosing to water this situation with. So yeah, because it seems like the solar part you don't need to do. That's more like the larger metaphysical beings that are taking care of that. This is the portal that you've passed through and everything is okay. This is the end result of that work. This is the nutrient and the home. There is just a question of, for this, because this should be like blue, and I'm surprised that it didn't come out because I felt like I wanted to pull a blue card, right? Like, and the card that I may have chosen instead could have possibly been blue, but we got gray, right? So the sun, the soil, the leafy green, and the water. But because this is gray, there's something about the situation that either has been muddied, muddled, confuzzled, confused, gone stale, stagnant, is diseased, deformed, rejected. There's something about this part that needs to be worked on. Rejected or diseased. So there's something that needs to be carefully like weeded out. So it could be like something as simple as your diet, right? Like you have all the elements of a good diet minus like one thing. And it could be the thing that you overindulge in. It could be literally a deficiency in something like mineral, vitamin, whatever. It could be something that is missing from your life that would make it very lush and full and complete. Something that you have the control over, that you have the ability to control, right? Like you have the ability to control whether or not you go out or not, particularly if you're an adult. You can go out and meet people, you can go out and meet friends, you can go out and date, you can go out and volunteer, you can go out and have food. Like, unless you're severely underdeveloped in several areas, you have the capacity to do things. You have the capacity to make things happen, and you have some control and some agency in your life. And I think this gray is hinting at the inability to see that, or the inability to act on that control that you have. I think that for solar, you're unwilling to perhaps move. There is a little stuckness there. You may want to consider a cleanse, perhaps a cleanse where they're like using the leaves and they're raking it off of you, right? I'm going to make sure they're like raking off of you, or some sort of fire cleanse, or some stone that represents fire that's very heavily fire element oriented, or something like that, a fire meditation. Or your like solar plexus chakra could be very deficient at this moment. You may also be having gut issues, meaning your actual like GI tract and shit like that needs to be like worked on. But you could also be having like gut issues as in things are really weighing on you. But weighing on your body is in, it's almost like you could have like preemptive and like anxiety about situations that have not arrived yet, or things that haven't arrived yet, or you think will arrive, right? You think will grow, or you think have like, you think the circumstance is a breeding ground for something that will be unsuccessful and worse, very destructive. That may not be the case though. That may not be the case. You're within control. You're control of this. You're in control of this. You're in control of where this goes. And you're in control also, if this is more on the medical side, you're in control of the references or the perspectives that you get. And you can get second opinions, it seems like, right? This is not medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't give legal advice, health advice, all of that. But it does seem like you do have the resources available, but there's just like you needing to step into that. Like, it just seems like you're the one that's kind of slowing this down. It's not an external thing, right? You're the one kind of like slowing this shit down, which is interesting. I feel like I need to do a second arrow of this. Interesting. 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 You have a lot of outside help. So whether you consider that to be like a god, ancestor, higher aspect of self, that's very prominent. The fact that these three kind of changed significantly leads me to believe that there are moving parts that are not related to this deity. I feel like they're more related to you. And whether or not you're willing to understand what's happening here. So it seems like you may be getting frustrated, like you're being fucked with. Essentially, like you do something is taken away and it seems like a negative. You do something else seems taken away. You try to replenish this and something else is taken away. Like you like, an example would be like in your house, like you turn one light off, then you realize there's another light. You turn that one off, then the other one goes, you know, like, or you're trying to turn off an alarm and then something else goes off. You try to turn that one off and then something else happens. You try to do that and then something else happens. It's just like, it seems like it's a mounding like issue that becomes like a larger thing that you have to tackle. And it could seem with this yellow also very insurmountable and outside of yourself, that this thing is then controlling you and your actions. and you have no choice but to kind of surrender and not stay rooted in yourself. So stay rooted in what you're trying to do, who you're trying to be, and connect with that, with the divine. Stay rooted in that, but like, do the work necessary. Do the work that you need to do to move forward. I'm not so concerned about this because the outcome is still here. It's still here to me. It's still a very lush thing. It seems like you're able to get some sort of emotional reserve or something like that to water this, what this is. But by the time you do it, it seems like the seasons have changed almost. So I would say don't wait too long for it. Also, you may be trying to wait until you time up the divine's like if you get messages from the divine in a certain way, you may be looking for that exact way, because usually you maybe look for 3 signs, 3 little signs that let you know, but it could be just one big glaring sign with the way this yellow is overtaking the whole reading that you need to look for. And you looking for multiple signs or multiple reassurances is really slowing you down. And the momentum that you need to do this dwindles because you're looking for very specific ways, very specific things that will encourage you to do this thing. And if you keep waiting, what it seems like is you're going to deplete the energy that you needed of the circumstance. It will have passed you by almost, and then it's like you'll need divine intervention. And I don't know if divine intervention is so happy to intervene divinely. I don't feel like that is necessary. Like, I kind of feel like you were given the tools, you needed to tweak one thing, but because you wanted to wait and you wanted it to line specifically up, and maybe you have issues with what you think divine inspiration or divine alignment is. That divine alignment is 100%. Divine alignment for you may look like 60%. It looks like just enough to where you will get over the hurdle. That 40% just is the hurdles. The 60% is the momentum that you need to actually get the fuck started. And you will gain the momentum as you go forward. But you don't need it to be perfect to start. That's where you're getting fucked up at. It needs to be 100% perfect to start. How? There's no 100%. Like, the 100% technically is your decision to do it. That's the 100%. That's really the sign. And usually it's when you're not trying so fucking hard. I've learned this a lot. When you're not trying so fucking hard, when you just like, I'm gonna just go here today, that's when what shit ends up happening. You just follow it, and then there you go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you feel something and then you say, I'm gonna go here, and there's a real prominent like no, then like follow that. But it seems like there's just like a huge waiting period between things, and the outcome is great. And I'm not gonna say great, but it's good. You could have great, but you're settling for good. And the reason why good is there is because there's just a wait between doing stuff. It's not as good, and you're not gaining as much momentum as you could by just going for the shit, right? You would never start it at 20%. The divine has enough intelligence for you to not be at 20% and wanting to start something. But they do not require you. It does not, they do not, he does not, she does not require you to be at 100% to do something, to start something at least, anyway, right? They need you though to have the majority of your shit figured out so that you can go. But the majority is not 85, 95, 99%. It's like 51%, 60%. And so do not get hung up on how many how many boxes you can check before you do something. If you got 10 things you can do and 6 or 7 of them are good, start. And then the other ones will, once you do the momentum, because I feel like the universe just needs you to show that you have the momentum to even fucking do it, the determination to even start, like the energy to start. If you can show that, they will start to supply the energy that you need to deal with this, right? To deal with whatever comes in your way. There's a lot of lethargy here. I would highly recommend like something to clear out that solar plexus chakra. I think that needs to be worked on. Perhaps go outside, perhaps deal with plants and powder, deal with plants and watch them grow and see how prominent, they can become with your effort. Interact in that way. I think that's all that I had to say. Yeah. Stop wasting time. You don't need to be perfect to start. So there's that. Yeah. I think that's it. Thank you for watching, Sun. I will talk to you guys later. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Bye.